This is going to be week 29 and 30. Mystic Cooked. Oh, it is Mystic Cooked. I thought I was making a joke on his name, but it was Mystic Cooked. We got level 20 or week 29 and 30 because we didn't stream last week. We've mentioned before our lady is taking some time off, so we're not streaming as much. But she's getting back into the swing of things in a couple weeks, so then we'll get our schedule figured out. Pigeons this week. No idea why you would pick pigeons, I gotta be honest with you. I guess to stop cock magic potential, maybe. Interesting there. Yeah, I don't hate this, I don't love it. I'm just setting up to get the... I like that, I like that. That was a nice pull away though, to protect the big gay Al from the Ike. But I was mostly just building up for a secondary push here. We gotta push through. Sam should be able to break the slave heal. It's kind of annoying the tower's not hitting. There you go, the slave heal comes through. That tower I should have played a little bit further up. It's a good play with him. But the Tupperware, surprisingly, holding his own back there. Now we have the Sharon. Keep our tower alive a little bit. What's the plan here, though? I'm not sure. We could Wonder Tweak the tower, the defender away. I don't know, we'll see. One hit and then heal. Nice, I did heal the tower there. Interesting. Now we gotta be worried about the Grand Wizard here. He could cock magic it if we play that. But he's got his tower out there and he might have some roosters, so the cock magic is less likely now. The Paladin up on the top side. No reason to use the... Oh, there was the cock magic, but he didn't wait, so I still have the tower. It's gonna be interesting. Can we kill the stand? Can we kill the stand? No, we don't kill the stand. So he stops the roosters. This is trouble. We might have to slam that stand. That tower is doing good work. Little bit dangerous back there. We break through for the bar. That... Hold on. Did Stan do no damage there on that hit? Look at this. Stan hits New Kid. Does no damage. Oh, I guess they both registered at once on the second bar? What the hell happened there? That was weird. That was weird, but look at that, pulling him away. I was hoping the tower would start hitting the New Kid there, but he didn't. So he might get the tower here. I don't know why he didn't use the tower, like use the ability and steal the tower. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he was trying to get the stand instead or something, but that was very strange. I feel like he totally whiffed it there. No idea what happened. I also feel like he tried to cheat. But I appreciate everybody being here. Been a while since I've streamed, but everybody still showed up, so I appreciate you. And I'm started at 10 p.m. So I decided that if it's after 10 p.m., you know, give or take 5-10 minutes, whatever. If it's after 10 p.m., I'm not gonna bother starting the stream because I think it's just most people, if they were gonna watch, they probably went to bed or are in the process of going to bed or whatever. So if it's after 10, that's Central Time, then there probably won't be a stream. Otherwise, whenever we figure out the schedule, we'll try to stick to the schedule. But like I said, we got to figure out what the lady's gonna do, or what her schedule will actually be, and then what schedule works out. The Aerostorm this week. I don't think we ran Aerostorm on any teams. There's not really any reason to. Like the rats, I guess maybe. I think the only time we run Aerostorm is when Inuit's an option or Cyborg's an option, because that's a true value play. Like no matter what else, even if there's the only two units it hits or one unit it hits, it's still good value. But most of the time you'll hit that unit plus you'll chunk some other stuff, so it usually works pretty well. Right here I'm intentionally not using the abilities because I wanted Grand Wizard to be more on my side. But he pulled me all in with the Wonder Tweak anyway, so it didn't really matter. And then the Sharon got pulled in there. Did not think that was still going, so that was a bit of a mistake. She's in line a little bit more than she should have been, but we're doing okay here. Playing the Ike to try to bust through. Nice. Stan gets pushed back. We might end up winning just with the Grand Wizard hit. Grand Wizard is the only damage we've done to New Kid Grand Wizard ability. Yeah, it looks like it. Unless the rats sneak around. No, it doesn't look like it. So it looks like all the damage we've done. Oh no, that one rat did hit New Kid once, twice. So like maybe, how much attack do rats have? Like 90 or something? Huge hits from that Grand Wizard though. It's crazy. Like would Grand Wizard be the right pick if New Kid was higher level? Because really his most useful thing that he does is hits New Kid with that ability. In a lot of cases, you don't even want to use that ability. But when it hits New Kid, it's like no brainer. It 3 hits, it kills New Kid. See, that Aerostorm just doesn't do enough damage, especially when Sharon can be out there. And you're never gonna chunk her and her heal enough. Like you could, but you'd have to get pretty lucky that everybody's almost dead, and then you can Aerostorm them, right? You kind of have to get lucky. Or I guess you could do, if Sharon's gonna die from it, but she won't if she hasn't been hit. Wonder Tweak plus Aerostorm maybe would be more. I think if you had, good stand value and then Aerostorm, you can clear stuff out. But even then, I think there's too much options to protect, I think. And Tupperware potentially doesn't even get hit by anything, so. Just got a slow play here. I really don't love Santa. I feel like Santa is a waste of 5 energy, but in this case, it was the best choice. Because I needed to take... just because I didn't have Grand Wizard. Obviously, if I had Grand Wizard, I would have just played him. But when you can pair him here, I just played that to stall the most as I could, as soon as I could. Technically, I should have waited, but... works out. Now I can wait and play the Stan. Don't have to worry about the Santa charge right now. Because it's the second one. So now we can get the Stan. Here's we wait. Remember, don't hit the Santa until you're ready. Well, actually, if you stun those two, they won't get the Santa charge. But obviously, Santa gets charged there too. 95 on that Ike is just brutal damage. But the cock magic comes out, leaves the Stan and the Randy. That is just a ton of damage out there. The New Kid does deal with it, though. But can we kill him? Oh, the level 5 survives. The Randy and the Roosters probably going to take the bar. Very, very nice. Very helpful here. Probably could have played the Heidi there, but not a big deal. Also had a lot of energy, so... Was chillin', big chillin'. Big Verna Kabos. What? He's slow playing with the Santa. Double Stan. Then we see magic. That's annoying, I'm sure. We got 50 seconds. Can we take the bar? Here's our plan. Get it with this. We got to Wonder Tweak him. Oh, yeah. Wonder Tweak him into the corner so he's worthless. Oh, yeah, get out of there. Beautiful play. Now Ike on the bottom side, probably. Oh, we hit New Kid. We hit New Kid. We just need one more hit. One more hit. One more hit. Go, go, go. Of all the things, the Roosters could actually do enough damage. And one to grow on. Brutal. Grand Wizard Cartman. Just absolutely brutal. You gotta love that Wonder Tweak pull, though. You gotta love that. Blunt Bex from Viva La Stoners. Solid player, for sure. Alright. Grand Wizard lead. Can't really do that. So either slam Smuggler or Randy in the corner, maybe. Gotta see what he does if he can. But he's smartly not playing. Either thinking we could maybe draw or just trying to take an advantage from the beginning. Pretty non-committed start. We'll see what he does. Misses it, though. Misses it. It's a huge chunk out. Not as big of a deal when there's not cows. When there's cows out there, you really got to worry about any damage to New Kid. But that Grand Wizard now could be pretty dangerous. See, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, he's trying to bait my tanks to cock magic him with the tower. So like, I'm trying to not give him value from that at least. So you can tell he's still trying to bait it because now he's got his, he's still trying to bait my Grand Wizard or Santa or something to be able to cock magic it. Because obviously, you take advantage of the Tupperware damage. Or Tupperware ability, rather. But we're in good shape here. We can Medicine Woman Sharon and stay behind and heal. He's doing the same, but he's trying to heal his New Kid. Which I guess I'm doing the same, but not a great position for him because I can intercept before she gets there with either, rats, Heidi, something. But might not have to, because here we can just let the tower go, and now we built our push with 2 range cards, right? So this is pretty good setup. That doesn't really hurt me at all or help me at all. It lasts just like 1 second longer than I think it should. It's the second time I did that. So now that's not a bad setup, but we're going to go ahead and play Sam. Not worried about his stand because we're just going to Sharon to get rid of that. Looking pretty good. All the damage from the Sam pretty much removed. Did Sharon even heal my stand there? What? That was weird. Oh, it did. You could just barely. Oh, he got hit by. Look, he got hit by the other guy's stand right when he healed, so basically just evened him out. Big hits there, though. Great push here. But New Kid probably clears the net. No, everybody survives. That's dangerous. That is why Sharon is the pick there. I can't remember what the other option was, but Sharon. Just brutal during Team Wars, and the Sea Magic finally comes out. What he was trying to set up the whole time. You had a game where you took the 3rd bar after the opponent won? Yeah, those are crazy sometimes. You can usually tell when that's going to happen, and, like, there's that delay, because, like, the time between when it says, like, match starting and the match starting will be longer than it normally is. It's almost always the same chunk of time, but sometimes it'll be a little different, and I think that's usually, like, a connection issue, somebody was a little laggy connecting or whatever, but almost always that situation causes that slight little separation of, like, the actual match time. So that's also why sometimes like what's happening and what you see is slightly different, but like to that person it probably was different. Because we've had situations where like I recorded my version of it and somebody else was also recording their side, because whether they were streaming or whatever, and one of us was lagging or both of us was lagging, whatever the situation, and you can see the difference. Like, it was crazy. Like, it's basically 15 seconds different on like what's happening, and that's why like one unit will just like whoop zip across the field or something, because in reality that unit is over there because like 15 seconds have elapsed. Or like sometimes you'll play a card and it'll fast forward as if like 15 seconds of time has happened, because like technically it has. It's very strange. Very strange. If you want to check out what I'm talking about, that I'll try to remember to put it up as a link in the corner, but on my channel, if you look up hacker, I think the video name is He's a Hacker, because the guy accused me of hacking because the match was wonky, and then I started recording the match because the match was wonky, and then he accused me of cheating on Discord, and then I put my version on top of his version, so you can see exactly. And it was hard to match up, honestly, because like the match times were not the same. Where like the best way I did it was I matched it up by when at one moment a Satan gets played, and I matched it up where the Satan gets played at the same time on that moment, and then everything else is based on that. It's a wild video though. You should check it out. I put my D in his mouth. I did beat his ass though. I did beat his ass, but I think I had that glitch where like you have an ability and you can just keep using it over and over and over again. It was Sharon or Big Gay Al. Yeah, I don't know why you would ever do Big Gay Al then. Big Gael just doesn't make much sense. Like, I could see Big Gael if the other option was, like... What's a rare that you wouldn't play over Big Gael? God, there's not a whole lot of rares that are worse than Big Gael, honestly. And just the fact that, like, the only way you can win with Big Gael is if you play basically perfectly against him, and it's like an even match. And you just like you pretty much have to do it in overtime or just like really close to the end, because it's very possible to get a bar with Big Gael. It's not impossible, especially if you've done some damage with some other stuff already. But it's very hard not to get your shit rocked immediately after that bar gets taken, because they have a long time to build up a push, and you just spent 5 energy to do nothing to defend that push. And 9 times out of 10, even if you take a bar with that Big Gael, you're getting your absolute shit pushed in right after that. Immediately after that. What's up, T-Bone? Cows made large homosexual AIs obsolete. Oh, Al. I thought you said AI. I was like, what kind of AI is large and homosexual? But that's the classic I and L being the same on the... You'd think the font would have differentiated that a little bit more. T-Bone, welcome in, by the way. Yeah, it was... Yeah, but yeah, like, you're 100% right. Like, if you're gonna spend... If Big Gael was 4 energy, we could talk. But if you're gonna spend 5 energy on something that's meant to do damage to New Kid, you're gonna use cows, not Big Gael. Now, if the options were both, and you could play cows and Big Gael, now that's an option. That's like a win condition, because like I was saying, you use cows once, you take a bar, or you almost take a bar, at least in Team Wars, and then you wait. You just defend and you wait, and then right towards the end, you play Big Gael and you get that last hit off or whatever. Because it's like, most weeks it'll be borderline impossible to stop him. Like this week, how would I stop Big Gael from getting 3 hits off, 2 hits off? Wonder Tweak him backwards, I guess. You could cock magic him, I suppose. So like there are options, but he's gonna hit you once or twice probably. That was a hell of a fight midline, but that Ike comes through, and somehow he doesn't lose his attack. Is it because I used the ability? Wait. Why did it go to 190? Why did it go to 190? Oh wait, no, that is the math, isn't it? Okay, I'm stupid. I was thinking, but why didn't it? Is it because I used it right, like in between when it hit? Because New Kid definitely didn't hit him. But wouldn't you think that like it would remove the attack before that? It would either remove all the attack before that and show like -95 or -209, whatever it is, his attack plus 95, and then you would add 95 to it, so it would basically just put me at 1 boost basically, or it would just fully remove all the boost, because that's what it's supposed to do. That's weird. Didn't even affect it, and because of that I hit the tower for like 600 damage. Brutal. All right, don't love this. We could Wonder Tweak him, yeah. I could have Heidi'd and Paladin'd myself, but this works all right. I mean, any time you can get value from Wonder Tweak, it's pretty good, because his unit himself is pretty good. He does pretty good DPS, and he's got good range. Like, he doesn't get hit by New Kid and stuff. So if you can get good value from him, even if something else might be good, like, might as well do it. Because obviously I could have defended with Heidi and an assassin there because he had Heidi and an assassin. But you can't quite trust that as much when New Kid isn't helping as much, right? That was interesting, though. I didn't know that if you apply a buff right before Princess's attack debuff would hit, it like nerfs it. It like removes it. That's so crazy. Ike was MVP. Yeah, dude, he was kicking ass. That's a card like, you know, you can get a lot of value from him this week because you know there's not going to be certain things to stop him. Like if he's already played his paladin, his princess, or whatever, he's got nothing that he can quickly play. Like there's nothing, there's like no 3 costs in this deck, right? Rats, I think, is the only one. Otherwise, everything else in this deck is 4 cost and above, except for the two it's like paladin or princess or Ike, whichever one you pick. And I'm sure there was another option, but I can't remember what it was. But everything else in this deck, and the Heidi's too, everything else is 4. So if you know that those cheap cards are out, you're gonna be able to blast them with your assassins, especially if it's like a tank situation where, you know, they're midline and you can play your tank right on them. Tupperware should have hit one of the roosters there. That was kind of odd. Doesn't look like Paladin blocked anything there. Good Sharon. Sharon's brutal, man. Sharon's brutal. Like, what did he think he was gonna do there? What did he think he was gonna do there? I didn't even bother playing Ike there because I knew he was gonna, or using the Ike ability because I knew he was gonna die. Not a bad play though. But we took the bar. Nice, she does deal with him. We're gonna save the stand because she's dealing with the PGs. The PGOtos. I should have waited a bit for that, but it's fine. The tower's gonna take him out. That tower, man, does a surprisingly good amount of damage on that level 14 new kid. Hey, it's a cotton-headed ninny muggin. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Cottonhead 007. Is this the new deck yet? No, I don't think so. I don't believe so.
I honor my people.
Check out this trick.
Tupperware doesn't get hit by the stand.
Fear my magic.
Cock magic here. Only turns 4. I guess that was kind of ballsy because, like, does Tupperware take up one of the targets and not get turned into it? Or is he untargetable? I think he's untargetable. So it did correct. It wasn't luck. Those are the only 4 options. Get him once. Get him twice. Oh, almost had him. I don't understand the pigeons, guys. I gotta be honest. If your team picked pigeons this week, get the fuck out of there. What would that have been for? Pigeons versus Heidi? What the fuck? Somebody in their team argued that Heidi was the worst card in the game, I bet. And, like, there's no rational thought behind that. Like, Heidi can't possibly be the worst card in the game simply because she's a 2 cost. What's up, Sal? Simply because she's a 2 cost, right? Like, it doesn't matter if they're like, she's got shitty stats and doesn't have an ability. One, it's not true that she has shitty stats for a 2-drop. She can defend an assassin, unless it's like fucking Mysterion, probably. But that was an easy one. But she's perfectly adequate unit. And she's just outclassed by most things because she's fucking common, that's all. But as a 2 cost, perfectly fine. In fact, a lot of times I'd ran before, like, Doggo became a card, and like some other things became playable and leveled up enough, like my cyborg tower and stuff like that on the adventure lock. I had Heidi almost always in the adventure lock deck. I don't run her anymore then. There's just better options. But I mean that cheapness. She is one of the only cheap cards in Adventure. So. But yeah, like I said, you can't be a 2-cost card and be the worst card in the game. Because even if you were the worst card in the game, you're only 2-cost. So like it's not a big deal if you're the worst card in the game. In fact, in some cases, like Purify, Super Fart, whatever, you use that in a situation where it gives you no benefit except to cycle your cards if it's like at the beginning of a match. And that is a strategically good play. And so by being 2-cost, you are essentially potentially just a cycle card. And Heidi is a body. So like you can't possibly be worse. Or be the worst. Esquire is finally 3. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good if you're a lower rank. Put her with Dar, Ninju. Even if Ninju's level 3, you can get value. Actually, I would say BHK with her. Could be really brutal too. Then you could play Friar, keep him alive a little longer with Friar. Maybe you could, I mean, a lower level, you could probably get away with playing Angel Wendy. Keep him alive even more. You could play with Sci-Fi. Well, you'd have to if you're playing BHK, but. So that Sharon just completely full healed that push. Like that's just crazy good. That's just crazy good. And that's what I was talking about, that Wonder Tweak. Hit new kid, took the bar. And look at this. Boom, basically full health again. That is a brutal ability, man. When you don't have shit that can chunk the damage out, something like Sharon is absolutely OP. And especially since she's one of the few units, as far as like a heal goes, that isn't limited to like an X amount of characters. You know, Angel only hits 3 people. Robin Tweak only hits 1 person. She hits everybody in her circle. Everybody. You know, Deckhand is only 1 person closest. Imagine if Deckhand healed every unit that was out there a little bit. Not as much as... Like, imagine if it was kind of like double a BHK heal. So it's like 250 or something probably. 250 heal. But to every unit out there. That could be brutally good. Because like think about all the situations where like, you know, something barely survives. And then all of a sudden it's healed up again. And you're in trouble. Think about, you know, you Inkin... You Som... You're hit Inkin... on like, what is it? Mintberry Crunch, right? Doesn't quite die. So you're about to hit him with the Som, but then Deckhand dies and the Mintberry Crunch survives because Deckhand healed him 250. That'd be sick. Every healing unit is for towers, so no, don't make them better. Well, no, that would probably make it worse for towers, because right now Deckhand isn't terrible to heal the tower. Because it actually heals a decent amount. But if it healed less, but 2 more people, then it would be less impactful to the towers. That would make them so great. I think so. I think that would be pretty good, because potential to like heal those pesky units that could have barely survived. Or somebody, think about Drow survives New Kid. Oh, that'd be a great situation. New Kid... Like, you take New Kid and Deckhand's in the push. Deckhand dies to New Kid and then heals everybody that just barely survived the push. Or it could heal both towers. Yeah, but arguably, like, both towers 250 isn't as good as 1 tower 700, right? For instance. But yeah, you could heal the cows right after... Holy shit, dude. You play cows. You dog walk Deckhand with the cows. Cows take the bar. Deckhand dies. Heals cows 250 apiece for 750. probably enough to, especially in Team Wars, probably enough to take another bar or two. That's crazy. That's crazy. I guess this guy's not playing. GG next match. Yeah, no shit. Cows get hit by the Satan and then healed. Yeah, well, it's like if you're playing, like if you hit the cows with Incan, they barely survive. If you hit them with a level down Fireball, they barely survive. If you hit them with Satan, they barely survive, depending on the levels. And then like that sets up like the Dark Angel Red really well, but also it would walk right into that deckhand value too. Because imagine, you know, normally you just played Satan on the cows, and normally your new kid could actually kill the cows. But now they got 700, or they got, yeah, 750 more HP technically. That'd be crazy, dude. That'd be crazy. Yeah, maybe he'd be the only 4-cost assassin with Cyborg then. It might be worth it. That's the only 4-cost assassin, right? Well, unless you count the Dougies. The Dougies are technically assassins, but you kind of think of them as like a headhunter separate type of unit. Shield for cows, new kid Satan. Yeah, what if Paladin shielded every unit out there for a little bit? I always are. Well, that it's funny you mentioned like a shield. I got into arguments with people on, I think the Facebook group, possibly the Discord group. I don't know. This would be a good match. But I got an argument about the fact that if they were to ever put a spell in that's similar to the spell that Grand Wizard Cartman has in PvE, where he can just put a shield on you, on units, right? It's not a card in the game, but he has that card. I always argue that if they had that card in the game, even if it was a tiny little area, and even if it was only for 1 second of shielding, and even if it was a fairly expensive card, there's really no way in this game, specifically in this game, because of the way that the tower mechanic works, there's no way to make that balanced. There's no way to make that balanced because there's no way to stop me from stopping new kid damage if I time it right. And that alone could win a match. If I protect Mintberry Crunch, Call Girl, Pope, or not Pope, Mecha Timmy. So if I you know, maybe a Ninju'd Medusa, whatever. If I protect one of them from the new kid damage that would normally kill them, which wouldn't be hard if it was a second of shield, right? It would make the bars reset basically useless. No, Kai, you got plenty of time. So this is a decent situation. See, that's a good play by him. We're in not great shape here. So here we probably should play the Santa, but we don't really want to. So we play the Heidi, and then maybe we get the Grand Wizard, so that's good. But we don't have the time to play the Grand Wizard, so we got to play this. So this is working out okay, though. A lot of DPS from those rats. All right, now we're going to turn the tables on him because he lost his defense, but he gets the Grand Wizard out there. But the Stan is going to clear stuff out. Beautifully done. Did one of those rats start hitting the... No, it just straight up killed the Randy. And then he stops my Ike from getting a hit, so good on him. I decided not to play the Grand Wizard because I thought, you know, cock magic potential. Now we can go ahead and play the tower. Wait on the Stan until we know it's going to break it. Good shit. Stan level 6, remember. Brutal. Sharon with the heal. Very well done. That tower kind of put in a bad spot, but... Or because the Sharon hits the tower instead of... Or hits New Kid instead of the tower. Now, if he wouldn't have played his stand there, would he have gotten to the Sharon in time? I don't know. But he would have died either way. A 1-bar victory. Not bad that week. Not bad. Good play. Good player. All right, now I think we should probably have... Yeah, now we have the new... Now we have the week 30. So we got week 30. This one's a little bit fresher in our minds. This week you could really get into trouble if they had their tank plus bounty hunter Kyle set up and you didn't, because there's really no way to counter that without just doing the same thing and just doing everything else about it better. You know what I mean? Like if he would have played BHK here, the only thing that's gonna impact, because the new kid's not hitting him right. Yeah, the only thing, gross, fix that. The only thing that's gonna impact that fight is like what happens after it. So like for this instance, he plays Ike to get to my Maxi. Not a bad play, but I can intercept it with the Cupid because it's on my side, because I stalled a slight tiny little bit on that Maxi play at the beginning. That half an inch of the board is on my side, and now I can impact it. I can kill his scout. Not a bad play there, so we're gonna go ahead and play that because he wasted the 3 energy. But I would have killed that scout either way. And now BHK's healing everybody. We got plus 24 on the Maxi, which is pretty good. And then from here, it's just gravy. You don't remember this TVT deck? This was last week. This was 2 days ago. But yeah, once you get it going, like if they have Maxi plus BHK, and you don't have Maxi plus BHK or Stand the Great or Slave plus BHK, maybe there's literally no way that you can kill their BHK. Unless, well, no, there is one way. If it's set up in a way where you can play your Nathan, maybe you play you play the DSR to lower the BHK's health, and then the BHK moves up and targets and is sitting right on like the tank, and then you can play Nathan and hit the tank and then hit the BHK. That's like the only other way you can get him. Or you can cyborg Kenny and like have one of their units kill him, but like that's not very reliable. Not very reliable. I don't really like the Dark Mage this week. I only like Dark Mage that week where Terrence and Phillip is the option, because it's a pretty good counter to like a group of units like that. Otherwise, not very good. Potential this week with BHK boost with the AoE is kind of silly though. Probably not useful though. Now this deck is a deck, one of the decks that we call a levels deck. If you have levels on them and they don't have the levels, gonna be hard to beat you. Unless, like I said, unless that one situation where they get a BHK setup that you just can't defend because of, you know, the cards that you need being buried, and then you could be in trouble. But so a bit of a cycle week, but mostly if you have the levels this week, you're probably gonna take the victory. If you have levels on them, because you're probably just gonna overwhelm them. Now this is a pretty decent level deck, you can tell already. We're gonna go balls deep and see what happens. We're not in a great shape here though. I don't like this. I'm not loving this, but you see that Cupid with that plus 48 back there, actually surprisingly good. We almost get that DSR, but now DSR is gonna get healed up, so this sucks. But notice that the Cupid, he needs to get a range card onto that Cupid. There it is, but he's not gonna hit. Oh, he did hit the Cupid. Okay, there you go. Now will he hit the BHK though? See, he does hit the BHK. I can't tell if he's attacking the BHK or not though. Oh, that's unfortunate. The Nathan does kill the BHK there, but that Cupid plus 136, tanking those hits, the regen heals them. That Cupid alone can take out... See, this is what I was talking about. This is levels right here. That Cupid alone could have probably killed all of those guys. The Nathan stopped getting hit by the push, though. So for some reason, Nathan's not dead, which is just kind of annoying. Because that, you know, lets him potentially build a bigger push. So now we got our Nathan in the mix. I thought he was going to hit his Nathan, but I guess he didn't. And then I tried to save my Nathan, but I didn't get it saved. But we should be able to take the bar because the Nathan won't be able to stop the Cooper from taking it home. His Nathan did some damage, but at the end, it was not good. Have triple towers ever been an option in Team Wars? No, that hasn't. That would have been interesting, though. That would have been interesting. I think there's one week where you can have all 3 towers, but not at the same time, because one of the options is like arrow tower versus tower defender or something like that. Hard to kill the Nathan with the cows. Yeah, there's some underlying code related thing, or I'm not sure what it would be, that impacts whether or not a unit can get hit multiple times by the cow stampede. And I'm not sure if it's specific units or situations, but there's definitely times where one cow can hit one unit 30,000 times. Like, think about when the cows are running back to your new kid and you have a Sparky and you send Sparky backwards and Sparky keeps hitting the stampede damage and ends up dying. He can take unlimited damage from that. But there's other times where somebody can get hit by it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, but only get hit by it once. So I don't really understand. Don't really understand. I think Mysterion's one of those that only gets pushed once. So to kill Mysterion, you have to play the cows right on top of him so that all 3 of them hit. Otherwise, if you hit 2, he'll get knocked away and not die.
Nothing is too hard for me.
Probably will still die in a new kid or something, but I've definitely lost from that before. So this is a situation where, like, he does have this setup and I don't, but it's on my side so much that I'm still at an advantage. Because I can, you know, I played that scout and I just chunked his tank and there's nothing he could have really done about it. Look at that heal, though. That heal from the BHK. This is an example of what I've talked about where you can lose a match just from one level. Imagine if everything was perfect, except this interaction was the only difference. My Ike surviving that and hitting New Kid once as a result, basically taking the bar, could potentially be the difference between a game or not. Not sure why some units gets pushed. Well, all of the units gets pushed. All of them will always get pushed. But at a certain point, the push stops doing damage sometimes. Like right there, you can see. See, he's just not coming in contact with it anymore. He's getting damaged every time by it, though. She's getting damaged. Not every time, it didn't seem like. Or it did seem like she was getting damaged every time. I think there's only a few that don't take the damage, but it's very annoying. I wonder if it has to do with their knockback ratio. Because knockback is an angle. So if your knockback is 45, you're going to be sent as far as possible, probably. That's why some units get sent flying and some units just kind of get bumped. Because it's basically their way of handling weight. Instead of having a weight on the units, they added a knockback angle. So a unit like Grand Wizard, the knockback angle will be 0 or 5 or negative even, potentially. I don't know. Timmy slides. Yeah, they stopped taking that knock. Yeah, you're right. They stopped taking the knockback and they just get pushed. You're right. Because they get impacted. They still get impacted by the cows, but the cows are no longer giving them that knockback. Now that Ike, if I wouldn't have played the BHK yet, probably, if I knew that Ike was gonna go and kill that shield maiden. Because I was expecting that BHK to be there for a while. Because I was expecting the shield maiden to get a shield off, BHK sitting there for a while, and then I have a slave that has 100 extra or attack. But instead, it's 50. But we do heal him right at the end to get an extra hit off. Brutal. The roosters spawn right there. See, I think the cows... No, the cows keep hitting each other. I don't know, it's weird. Maybe there's no rhyme or reason to it. But yeah, that's why you gotta be cognizant of like the angle you're putting it at. Because if you push them into safety, you could potentially lose from that. Or we got Muppet Dump. Muff Dumping. Sorry.
Too hard for me.
I don't hate the Nathan here, but Cupid Carbon's probably the better play. Could play Scout Ike on the top side, or Hermes on the top side, maybe. Guess he really makes that decision for me. Although the Cupid, a little bit of a mistake there, but see, Cupid's knockback must be 45 exactly. See that? And it has nothing. It has nothing to do with the unit that's knocking back. Like all units that have knockback kind of do the same amount. To an extent. See that? 45-degree angle launched at. Just gets fucking sent. Just gets sent. And Cupid. I mean, I love Cupid. I feel like it must have been this week where one of my best Team Wars games might have been this week where the guy gets an early bar and plays really good defense, and there's just I'm playing midline. I'm like playing poorly in order to try to get a bar, and he's able to turn it around on me a couple times. He gets some good defensive stands out, and finally some situation comes. I think he builds a push and tries to take more bars. He could have probably just defended and won, but he spends some energy, and I slam Cupid, I think midline top side or something like that, and Cupid gets onto New Kid before he can stop it and takes the bar and ties it up right before overtime was about to start, or right before the game was like 2 seconds away, and then we get to overtime, and then we win in overtime. One of the closest matches I've ever had. I remember that shit. I remember that shit. Don't know if he's give me a free win. I feel like at least once a week we get a free win, right? Isn't that pretty crazy? But out of 15 matches, one of them... So that either means that guy... Three things are happening there. One, that guy knows that he could never possibly win, and so decides not to play. Now, that could just be because he knows I'm really good and I'm going to win because I'm on free to play or whatever, or he knows that his levels are shit, and all he wants to do is just lose 3 quick games. It's either that, 2, he got disconnected. That's also possible. Or 3, I just realized I kind of combined my 3 into number 1. That was gonna be you're just playing 3 games. You don't even try to win ever. You just play your 3 games so that you get your Team Wars pack. There's people who do that. And then there's people who would normally play but know they can't possibly beat me, so don't even waste the time. Good play, good play. The shield maiden shield was a bit off though, but no, it ended up being perfect. She's alive, and the regen comes out. God, regen is brutal. Regen is also a brutal card in Team Wars. Brutal card. 128 on the slave, dude. 128. Slave can break the slave by himself. Looks like he did. Yeah, like I said, this week, one of those weeks where you could definitely lose. This one, that BHK, man. That BHK. A good charge ability would be the one that limits a certain type of card they can play. Like Youth Pastor. That'd be interesting. Like you play somebody and then they can't play an assassin or something. I'm trying to think, would that be potentially too good? Like, let's say you have a card in each theme where the ability is while that card's alive, or let's say just like Youth Pastor, for 30 seconds while that card's alive, you can't play every type of card. So you can't play a tower, you can't play one for assassins, you can't play one for fighters, you can't play one for tanks. Would any of those be good? And would any of those be too good? I feel like blocking people from playing, the two most impactful things would probably be blocking people from playing assassins or blocking people from playing tanks, right? That would probably be... Now, you know what would be an interesting card? If you had like somebody whose ability is like to confuse people, and then you had a charge ability where when you use that ability, it'll take a random card in their deck and discard it and put it to the end of the cycle, or a random card in their hand and discard it and put it to the end of the cycle. So imagine like you're going up against a Pope Manbear Pig deck or something like that, and you keep cycling his Manbear Pig to the bottom so he never gets it off. Or you exchange the Call Girl or the Coon that was supposed to cost. Like, there's potential where that would be incredibly good. But as far as just like block, he didn't get the Cupid there, so that's brutal. But as far as block, and he had half total HP, so he did less damage too. Blocking assassins from being played. I mean, you could block fighters from being played, and then they could, like, if it's the last 30 seconds, you play that unit, and then they can't play cows to potentially come back. Like, that's a very viable use case, especially in Team Wars when you know that could be an option. So there is potential where that could be good. But just in general, though, I don't know. I feel like most people are going to have a deck that's varietized, that has enough variety where, like, let's think about this. If you blocked my assassins, like, you see that? I have one of every card basically right now. So if you blocked my fighter, I couldn't play her, but not a huge deal, I guess. Or what about like in your case, it's a charge, and every time you use it, it changes what type of unit you can't play. No, I don't like that. Or actually, we did this as a, probably didn't have to purify that, but they're probably about to heal, right? Oh, that was Bracken Shitty Phones, by the way. He's a good player. We play him quite a few times. But no, one of the things I do with, technically you can still do this, but with Stream Loots, you can get a card that tells me that I can't use a certain slot. So I cover up that slot and then I can't use it. So for instance, like I wouldn't be able to use Cyborg. Or let's say I couldn't use the third slot. So then like I couldn't use Cyborg. But the problem with that is that if you pick slot 2, 3, or 4, I can potentially manipulate where they are based on which card I play. So I could potentially still play every card, I just kind of finesse it. But if you pick the first slot or the last slot, then you're just blocking me from playing my cheapest card or my most expensive card. Because if I can't play that slot, I cannot change that unit. That unit will always be, at a certain point, that card will never change position. And so you're just blocking me from using that one card, which can be potentially bad. Like, if it's transmog or something like that, What's up, Lois and Roll? Welcome. Long time. But yeah, it's an interesting idea, like a card that would do that. So let's say I have a charge card, and every time I use the charge card, it changes which number card is used. So if I don't like the one it picks, then I can use it again, and it'll randomly pick another one. So you use the ability, and then as long as that card is still alive... Yeah, I didn't know what to do there. Did he just purify... Was that... He just purified midline. Did you see that? What the hell was that? I wasn't worried about that. Anything I played would probably have turned around and hurt me. But then I got Purify way too late there to be able to defend that. See, Scout didn't even get... Like, Scout has the range to not even get hit once. Like, I even highlighted that. I'm like, he didn't get hit once by the cows? Like, what? What? Does that always happen? I even, like, in the moment, I even highlighted it. I was like, excuse me? Is that true, guys? If you play the Scout so it has to walk into the cows and they don't, like, walk into him, does he not get hit by it? Is his range just out of range? That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. All right, we have... Like I said, this week, it's all about getting your BHK set up, honestly. There was a heal from BHK. What? So he got hit once? Is that what you're saying? Wait for the front cow to hit once, then you use it. Because then it pushes him away and he has to walk back. You see how he was walking back and he didn't do shit? That's how you do that. BHK. Oh, almost got the heal off there. Come on, two-shot him. Nice. Heals the cows full. Plus 48 on all of them and 48 on the Cupid. 104 on the slave. Yeah, it's a brutal week. It's a brutal week. You get that BHK set up. Brutal. We got Chef's Playa Hater. Chef's Recruits. Well, then you'll know they'll at least have levels. The Cupid. Hitting my level 3 Shield Maiden. Would have been nice to have my Cupid right here instead of playing BHK. But it is what it is. Guys, did you know that BHK has knockback? I didn't know that. BHK was knocking back the Cupid slightly, though. That's crazy. So yeah, like I said, would have been way better if that was the Cupid dying right there, and now I'm playing BHK here. Not a bad setup. The Cupid survives. The Cupid survives. We take out the Kevin so he doesn't get any extra damage from the... I can't believe Cupid's still alive. Extra damage from that freeze. Cupid surviving this whole time to kill the BHK. Oh, just to die to the BHK. That sucked. Huge heals there, though. You might take this bar, but no, the Scout actually turned around. Somehow, Nathan wasn't hitting the BHK there. That was a little odd. So we got to basically give up the bar here and play the Scout out here. Get as much value as we can. Can we stop? The Shield Maiden's on the top side. Then Nathan knocks him away. Ugh, we stopped him. Not bad. Not bad. Cupid. We basically have to play the BHK because we have to do damage to the Cupid before the Nathan hits him, or else Nathan's going to knock him back. And then, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what I was worried about. And it's only a level 3, but as long as we save the BHK here, we got a chance. BHK getting healed. I can't believe Chef's Recruits went awesome. Like, seems like such a weird choice. And then right there, he didn't play the Kevin in a spot where he's going to hit the BHK. So what the hell are they doing? There, the Scout got hit. I don't know, that was weird. Good heals. Make sure you get it. Not bad played by him, but I think he needed to play the cows on my cows there instead of the DSR. If he had his cows. Because the only chance he had was to possibly take my bar before I took... Or, well, you know, I guess he should have done that. He should have tried to cycle back to his cows quicker. I know it's easier said than done. 56 minutes of Team Wars, though. Not bad. Inconsistent this game? No. That is one of the big pet peeves. I mean, really the only pet peeve is obviously there's bugs in this game, but most of the bugs, we know the bug, and like we either know how to prevent it or, you know, it really is once in a blue moon kind of thing. Something like, you know, the tower, if you mind control the tower, it turns into 4 towers or something like that, right? That's a bug. That happens, but you can't exploit it specifically. You can try, but it's not going to happen every time. Same thing happened with Jesus sometimes. Like if your connection's kind of weird, Jesus will spawn on everybody. Quad knows all about that. But it's when the game just like doesn't quite work. Like those moments where like a unit will die, but then it'll be alive again. And like you play a card because you think that unit was dead, and then that unit's not dead, and all of a sudden you lose because that unit was Sam, and Sam just used his ability and killed you or something like that. A unit that jumps over other units would be funny. That's kind of like Mimsy. You know, if Mimsy's at your new kid, or if you play Mimsy at your new kid and somebody's you know, I guess if they can't already be attacking new kid. But you know, what if Mimsy had like a right when you played him, it had like a 5 or 6 second taunt, so that it did retarget people, so that if they were on new kid, then they start chasing the Mimsy. That would have been interesting. I think Mimsy's another one where same with Big Gael. Why would you play Mimsy for 5 cost if you could just play the cows for 5 cost, which is more net health, more net damage? I would say the only reason you would run Mimsy is like just like the Big Gael is if they change it to being 4 cost, which is obviously not possible, but last game showed Chef's build is the weakest one. Yeah, he played good, but I feel like the wasted energy from, what was it? Did they have Witch Doctor? No. What was it? Oh, the Osimo. Yeah, the Osimo was definitely wasted energy. I just don't feel like he's good enough. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. We're going to stop the recording. I've been trying to post YouTube videos, but I think we went like a week without them, but posted one today, which was a good one, and we had good viewership here tonight, so I appreciate you guys. It's already almost midnight, so we're gonna stop for the night. We did about an hour and a half for you. Be on the look. When I figure out the schedule, I will for August and going forward, I will post it on. I'll make like a post on YouTube. I'll post. I think I can post on Twitch now, like a little text blurb. I'll see. Otherwise, it'll be on Discord and stuff like that, just to let you guys know when we'll be streaming. It'll be a little bit more consistent, and it'll be fun. But I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Oh yeah, Kevin, that's right. Kevin was the other option. I understand like the Osimo with the Kevin, but Kevin's just not good enough to warrant building the deck, because like picking a bunch of shitty cards. I'm gonna pick Program Stan because I picked Kevin. It's stupid. Anyway, we'll see you guys.